Ole Gunnar Solskjaer described Manchester United's 5-0 defeat to Liverpool as his darkest day in football. But he insists he is the man to turn things around at Old Trafford. For more on this, we can join our reporter, Vinny O'Connor, who is at the club's training ground. Hi there, Vinny. It's 3 defeats, isn't it, in 4 league games, as well as that such a humiliating defeat. But where does it leave Solskjaer, do we feel?
Well, you saw it yesterday as well. Gary Neville looked at that interview that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave post-match and described it as a really difficult watch. And you could see a little bit of emotion in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know just how he was feeling after that as well. He'd seen his players embarrassed out there at Old Trafford as Liverpool really cantered to their biggest ever win at Old Trafford as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is to obviously turn the mood around whilst under immense scrutiny now as well. He spoke after yesterday's game, didn't he? Not only about his belief, as you say, that he can get the season back on track, but also to that end, the importance of the next 3 games. Next up, it's Spurs away this weekend. It's Atlanta then, that second game against Atlanta in the Champions League before the Manchester derby, of course, against Manchester City at Old Trafford. And for former Manchester United goalkeeper Mark Bosnich, the importance of these next 3 games is clear.
If this continues, there is no other choice for the board. I heard what Gary Neville said, so that maybe they're going to go to the end of the season. Well, that's okay, but if this continues, do you really think, does he really think that Manchester United supporters are going to be putting up with this week in, week out just to go for the sake to go to the end of the season? There's 3 tough games coming up. Obviously, Tottenham on the weekend away, then Atalanta, and then Manchester City right before the international break. And coming back to what Gary said about, if they happen to lose those 3 games, which right now looks a massive possibility that they could do, I don't really see there being any other choice.
Gosh, so Vinny, just how important is this game against Tottenham now?
Well, it's crucial that Manchester United get some momentum as quickly as possible, and obviously that starts again this weekend when they face Spurs. So it's crucial in more ways than one to bounce back from yesterday's embarrassment, record a first league win in 5, and don't forget, of course, United were humbled 6-1 by Spurs last season, weren't they? Solskjaer admitting that only yesterday was a lower point during his time in charge of Manchester United. The manager's attitude, obviously, is to make sure that United go into the next training session and the next game in the right frame of mind, and part of that will be learning the lessons of the last 2 games. In particular, we've seen them ill-disciplined in terms of doing their job as individuals and as a team as well. An ineffectual press, not learning the lessons after that game against Leicester. Mistakes with and without the ball, and of course, ill-discipline as individuals as well. We saw Ronaldo, a bit of petulance really, getting involved in that tangle with Curtis Jones. A lunge from Bruno Fernandes on Curtis Jones in the second half, and then eventually that red card for Paul Pogba as well for that challenge that ultimately ended Naby Keita's afternoon as well. So all contributing to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer described as his darkest day managing this group of players, and we'll see what response Manchester United can come up with in the Saturday Night Football when they face Spurs.
Vinny, just want to ask you, you're obviously at the training ground today. What's it been like there? Players in and out? Are they training? What's happening?
It's been relatively quiet, actually, despite yesterday's frustrations, and I imagine there'll be a number of frustrations of the fans possibly wanting the players to be worked even harder today. But so far it's only been the injured players in at Carrington for treatment. It appears that those involved yesterday are not in today, although we still have to have that confirmed officially by Manchester United. But a day off might not necessarily be the worst of ideas. It gives people an opportunity to clear their heads and then come back fresh, ready to work once again on Tuesday, for instance. It was a point, after all, that Gary Neville made yesterday on Super Sunday as well, along with his expectation that the owners will continue to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. But given the signings that were made in the summer, additions to a group that finished second last season, obviously expectations have grown because of that, so things do need to change quickly. It's 4 league games now without a win. They've slipped to 7th in the table, and they are, of course, 7 points behind Liverpool and 8 points behind leaders Chelsea.
Vinny, thank you. Well, Solskjaer was taking charge of his 106th Premier League game as Manchester United manager on Super Sunday, and heading into the match at Old Trafford, himself and Jurgen Klopp had very similar records in their first 105 matches in charge of United and Liverpool. Liverpool's results notably improved from there on. Liverpool lost just once in the next 66 league matches, collecting an average of 2.71 points per game. So is Solskjaer now entering a decisive period in his time as manager? Just the performance on the whole was just so poor. And like I say, when you're playing against your big rivals in Liverpool at home, it's a disaster for Manchester United. The hierarchy have always stuck by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They've always come out and said we're going to continue to do that. But after that result, after that performance against your big rivals, questions have got to be asked now, I think. And it actually started quite well for Manchester United, didn't it? There was a lot of positivity around them in terms of the signings that they brought in, the fact that they beat Leeds, didn't they? I think they then backed it up with Newcastle, good performances, and I think we were all, Manchester United here could potentially challenge it for those top positions. They finished second last season. You then add 3 top quality players. The pressure is on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go and win something. So after that defeat and after that performance, there's got to be questions asked. Tom,
I think there's also a point in case here where we spoke about Newcastle the last couple of weeks, where we said they need a manager who's going to get them to a certain point. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in and bridged what they needed to do at the moment, and he's done extremely well at bringing the feel-good factor back to the club and getting them to that next level. Is he the man then to take them to the next step? I think he was the perfect appointment for what they needed at that time. They needed that figure to come in who knew Manchester United and to take them to where they needed to get to. But to make it to, is it 4 finals now that they've made it to and not 1? We spoke about Jurgen Klopp when he didn't quite get that win, but look where he's gone now, and that's the difference.
Well, United fans appear divided over whether or not Solskjaer should remain at the club. As you can see, many waited outside Old Trafford after the game for a photo and autographs. There's been much debate about how much Manchester United run as a team this season. This is how they compare with the current top 3 in the Premier League so far. United have covered 939 kilometres this season. That's nearly 30 kilometres less than Manchester City and Liverpool, but it is 3 kilometres more than Chelsea.